Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kayla. It's been a second since you've seen me on here, but I'm back and I'm ready to try this again. Let's move right along as to why I've been gone. You know, things happen, but I'm here again. I bet you're happy to see me. I'm happy to see myself. So today's video, we are going to talk about, this was requested via my friends in my little book group chat. I think Ruby specifically asked for this, and then everybody was like, yeah, do it. I want to hear it. So today, you saw from the title, it is a tattoo tour slash book recommendations based on those tattoos. Okay. As you probably know, I do have tattoos. I have some on my arm, I have one on my shoulder, and I have two on my leg. The extra one on my leg, the second one on my leg is very new. I got it while I was gone. So I have a total of 7. As I say the books and say the tattoo, I'll insert a little clip of me like nicely showing off said tattoo. But here, me in this chair, is me telling you what book and telling you why I picked that book. I might not necessarily tell you what the book's about because if you've been here before, I do have a bad habit of just not saying what a book is about. So I may say it or I may not. I haven't decided yet, and I won't decide until the second I start talking about a book. So the first tattoo I'm going to talk about, I'm going to kind of go in order of how I got them or when I got them or where I got whatever. I'm going to go in the order that I got them on my body. So the first one is my teacup that's on the back of my shoulder, that's on my shoulder blade. Anyway, it's on my back and it is just a teacup. It's got a swallow in the teacup. It's got flowers on it. It was my first tattoo. I just kind of picked it out of a flash book. We showed up at the tattoo shop and I said, I want to get a tattoo. And he said, what do you want? And I said, I don't know. And then he was like, well, my book's right there. And so I picked it out of the book. He stenciled it up and then I got it. And I had that tattoo, just that tattoo, for probably a year or two before I got another one. But anyway, teacup. For the teacup, I actually chose A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. I picked this just because there's a tea monk in that book. I felt like it was appropriate. Teacup, tea monk. I really enjoyed that book. Becky Chambers is an author that I really love. This one is a short book. It also has a second book, which I can't think of the name of, but A Psalm for the Wild Bill is really good. I think that if you are into kind of like a sci-fi fantasy idea, that's where you should go. I do prefer myself a long way to a small angry planet by Becky Chambers. That series I greatly prefer over A Psalm for the Wild Built, but Becky Chambers, you can do no wrong with her books. So my teacup, A Psalm for the Wild Built. That's what we have first. Okay, so next tattoo I got on my forearm, and it is a cowboy boot, cowboy hat, lasso rope kind of thing, and it has a banner on it that says Dad. So I got this tattoo um, a couple years ago. My dad had passed away, and I actually got this tattoo on his birthday by the artist's dad did all of my dad's tattoos, and so it felt very connecting to get a tattoo by him because his family has tattooed my family. He is tattooing me. That's a whole thing. So this is probably one of my favorite tattoos. Honestly, it means the most to me. It is one of the few tattoos that I didn't pull out of a book, that I went and said, hey, this is the criteria that I want. Can you do this for me? And this is what he drew up, and I love it. It's great. So this one, I couldn't decide if I wanted to lean more cowboy because my dad loved stuff like that. He always wore a boot. He always had a hat on. He always wore boots and had like a hat on of some sort. So I didn't know if I wanted to lean more cowboy or lean more dad. And so for this, I actually leaned a little bit more dad. And I chose The Simple Wild by K.A. Tucker. This book is set in Alaska. It's about a girl who, I think she lives in Chicago. No, because I think she lives in Canada. So I think she lives in Vancouver or like Toronto or something. and she finds out that her dad is sick, and so she goes to Alaska to kind of see her dad. She hasn't seen him in a number of years, and kind of spends time with him. He's sick, and she meets this like bush pilot, and it's a romance. It's a romance book, but the first book really heavily hits on her relationship with her dad, not just the romance. So it's just her relationship with her dad. And this book gave me a lot of feels. I'm pretty sure I read this book after my dad had passed away, and so it really kind of hurt me in a way that like this book will kind of hold a big like part of me with it, I guess. So that is why I chose that one. Okay, next one is my hourglass. So my hourglass on the top of my arm by my wrist. It's just an hourglass with some flowers. You if you can tell, there's a theme here. There's a um art theme, and there's also a flower theme. I don't know why I keep picking tattoos with flowers, but I don't know. I like it. It's what I like. It works. It's cute. Got it. So this hourglass, actually, I could have picked a book that represented time, or a book that took me a long time to read, a book that took me not a long time to read. Like there could have been a time aspect with the idea of reading the book or the actual book. But I went a different way with this, and some people might not like that, but I did it. So for the hourglass, I actually went with My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. So I went with this title because the time of my life that I got this tattoo was pretty dark. And it isn't the same kind of dark that My Dark Vanessa is, but this My Dark Vanessa is about a woman who it kind of has multiple timelines. Okay, there we go. Time. So multiple timelines where one part of it is her as an adult and she's kind of navigating her life, and then it flashes back because when she was in high school, she kind of had this weird relationship with a teacher of hers, and it was very predatory and it was very uncomfortable. And in the future, she is kind of going back to him, but also he's like bad things are coming out about him. So it's been so long since I read this book, but I remember just it hurting me, and I read it about the same time that I got this tattoo. And the time of my life in which I got this tattoo, I had a lot going on. I was not in the best living situation. I had people coming to me and telling me things that like made me start to realize I was in such a bad situation, and I had people coming to me expressing opinions to me, and this was kind of the start of the movement of understanding that I was in a bad situation. Did it take me forever to get out of it? Yes. But did I get out of it? Yes. Praise me. So that is why I chose that. The time in my life in which I got this was not a great time, and this book is just disastrously sad. Okay. The next one is the dagger on my arm, on my it's right here. You've probably seen a video of it. The dagger on the back of my arm. I got this one um actually like probably maybe 2 weeks before the COVID shutdown. So with this, I chose this because or I chose this next book for this because on the third book it has like a scythe, and later you might be like, Kayla, why didn't you choose that for a later book? And I'm going to say, I don't know, because I wanted to choose it for this one because of the colors, the red colors and like the yellow colors. I actually ended up going with an entire series. I chose the Red Rising series by Pierce Brown. If you know anything about me, you know that I will self-proclaim that being the best book series ever, even though I've only read the first 3 books. I have Iron Gold on my bookshelf. Have I read it? No. Will I read it? One day. I need to reread Red Rising because I read the Red Rising first 3 books in 2016, and I have self-proclaimed those as being the best books ever, and I have yet to reread them. So I do need to reread them. So the first Red Rising book, we follow Darrow, and he is he a red? He is. I obviously he's a red. It's called Red Rising, dummy. He is a red, and there's like a caste system, and the reds think that they are helping by digging. They're miners, they live underground, they're digging to make life better, for the people who are not living very well above. And a bunch of stuff happens, and you find out that the Reds are actually the lowest tier on the caste system. They're actually doing the dirty work. They're like bad, like nobody likes them, things like that. And Darrow says, "Oh, heck no, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna like start a revolution in a way." And people say this is Hunger Games in space for adults. That's kind of the big tagline for this. I sometimes I tell people that to simplify it, but it is so much more than that in my opinion. And I think after the first book it goes away from that like Hunger Games type challengey thing. So for the Dagger, the Revolution, Red Rising series by Pierce Brown, 10 out of 10. Go read it. If you have not, please. They're one of my most prized possession books. So thank you. This one is the girl that's on the top of my arm above my hourglass. I picked this next book because the girl, she's a tattoo, the flowers, things like that. I picked Swift and Saddled by Lila Sage. This is a second book in the I think it's Blue Rebel Ranch series. This is a cowboy romance series, and I chose this book because the main character Ada in this book has, I believe, a full sleeve on her arm, and it might have flowers. And she's an interior designer, and she's beautiful. And I think that this girl is beautiful, and so that's why I kind of connected the two. But yeah, if you need a cowboy romance, Done and Dusted is the first book. Swift and Saddled is the second book. The third book hasn't come out yet, but it's Loved and Lassoed, I think. I'm obsessed with this series. Swift and Saddled was actually the only book I read this past April, and I gave it 5 stars. So, next, the same day I got this girl, I also got my first tattoo on my leg. And I don't know why, but I got the Grim Reaper. And so, why did I pick that? I don't know, but I like it and it's cute. And sometimes I'm self conscious about it because I don't know. I don't know why I think people will think it's weird, but I've gotten over it because I like it. But my Grim Reaper, I chose um this next book because of the color scheme, the kind of red and black. And then I also chose like the Grim Reaper's death. And this next book is about death in a way. But I ended up choosing Tender is the Flesh by Augustina Basarica. I believe that's how you say her name. It is the best book I read in 2023. It was, I think, one of the last books I read in 2023. But this book is set in a world where the like farming market, something happens and like all the cows and different animals get like this disease and you like truly cannot eat them or you will die. And so the world kind of shifts to a different sort of way to eat meat. And if you could guess where I'm going with that, it turns into cannibalism. And the interesting thing about this book is that it talks about the meat production and the meat packing industry, but it's uncomfortable because they're talking about humans. And it seems so like okay. And obviously it's not okay. And so it gives you kind of this icky, gross feeling about how like we've shifted in a world where we're eating other humans. And the whole point of the book is to make you feel uncomfortable and really make you think about that kind of industry. And yeah, it's amazing. And there's a whole other side plot line that is way more uncomfortable. Last one is my Mothman. So my most recent tattoo, I got Mothman. I've been saying for years that I want a Mothman tattoo, and I wanted to get him normal, like the black with the red eyes. But then I thought, no, I want to kind of make him cute. I want to do something different to make him cute. And so I went to this artist that I've been wanting to go to, and I showed him like my examples, and they all were like not scary. But then I said again, I love these, but I want to make him cuter. And he took that as let's change the colors. And so at first I was hesitant, but the more I looked at his rendering of Mothman, the more I was like, I'm obsessed. I do love my Mothman. He's like purple and pink and he's cute. Okay, I wanted him to be cute and he is cute. That's that on that. So I picked two. One I picked because of the color scheme, and the other one I picked, you'll see why. It's very relevant. But the first one I picked for my Sweet Dear Mothman was actually Lore Olympus by Rachel Smythe. I picked this because of the colors. Straight up picked it because of the colors. You know, Lore Olympus is like that blue and that purple and that pink because they're really trying to enhance the colors of the Greek gods. Hades is blue because he's the god of the underworld, and Persephone is this beautiful pink. And then all the other gods have their respective colors and just it's very vibrant. And then I also wanted to just talk about this other book with my Mothman, and this is Dear Mothman by Robin Gao. I read this maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago from now. Since of filming this, I read this 2 weeks ago. And this is a middle grade LGBT book about a kid who is coming to terms with their identity, and they're writing letters to Mothman. Their best friend has passed away and was also trying to discover their life with their identity. And their friend loved Mothman. And so they're writing letters to Mothman, just being like, Mothman, what do I do? Mothman, this is what I haven't told my parents my new name, but my friend called me my new name. So those are my tattoos. Those are the books that I have corresponded to go with my tattoos. And that's it on that. That's all I have for you guys. Do not forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know down in the comments if you have any tattoos, if you want to recommend me a book based on one of your tattoos, if you see my tattoos and want to recommend me a book based on my tattoos. All of the above is appreciated. But let me know down in the comments what you think, how you feel, what's going on, what's new since you last saw me. Let me know. But yeah, that's all I have, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye.